Michael, it's going live right now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Live action here from the VLA Cup at the Ball Sports Academy in Northeast Indiana. A huge matchup. Just about ready to get going here behind me. Southern California's Rising Tide against New York's Team LVC. Both winners of respective in-state matchups this morning. Team LVC beating the New York Pride. Rising Tide beating San Francisco's SportConX. So they match up in this to win Pool B, which is huge. The seed and the bye that they get in the bracket tomorrow, very, very important. So a ton to get to about these two teams, both very legitimate championship contenders. We are very excited for this matchup and a lot to get to. So, hi guys. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not already. Court 2 right now, Ascension versus Sweed, is live for YouTube members. So join the channel as a member if you haven't already and you want to watch that. And let's get to the match coming right up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for tuning in live to the 2021 VLA Cup. I am Rob St. Clair, and this matchup is going to deliver. The SoCal Rising Tide in blue with the waves on the near side of your screen, facing off against New York's Team LVC in white with the pink flamingos on the far side of your screen. Absolute star-studded lineups. And like I was just saying, a matchup to win Pool B, both teams beating in-state rivals earlier this morning. There's a ton to get to about these rosters. As the Rising Tide beat SportConX earlier, this is pretty much an entirely different group of guys from then, so cool to get to know some new faces and a couple big names for Team LVC as well. Started off with number 19 in white, Greg Petty. Outside hitter out of Lewis University in position 5 right now. Going to be LVC's biggest offensive option in this rotation 6 and otherwise. The setter serving first for the Rising Tide, number 3, Chris Kahns. Handled really well by Dave Evans, the second outside hitter this match. Down the line by Petty. And right on cue, the Chicago native Greg Petty, who's played a ton of international volleyball, registers his first VLA kill after not playing in the match this morning. Setter Christian Smith, who you should know awfully well by now, for Team LVC, working on Magatutia first off. Speller into the block, kept alive. Set all the way across the court to Aaron Kubi. Husman to Petty again through the block of Schmiegelt and down. Interesting matchup there. Petty, who just got that kill once again, through the block of his former collegiate teammate, Jacob Schmiegelt, number 20 in blue, the middle blocker for the Rising Tide. Those guys took Lewis University to the 2015 NCAA championship game. Low pass there. Nice set by Kahns, and Schmiegelt wrist away into the deep cross-court corner. Aaron Kubi here, number 6 in blue, 6'5" outside hitter out of Caen, France. The Frenchman came over to the States to play collegiately at UC Irvine. Nice float serve working on Petty here in rotation 1. Passed well off the net. Sent over by Evans as a roll shot. Really good opportunity here in transition for the Rising Tide. And Speller off the block and out of bounds. Realia Speller, number 22 in blue. 6'5" opposite out of Wisconsin. But his SoCal connections that he played at Long Beach City College in the SoCal junior college scene. Pass by Petty again here in rotation 1. Marshman. Crossbody absolutely pounded to the floor by number 12 in white, Mike Marshman, a 6'7" middle blocker out of St. Francis, who just finished a sensational season playing for Cambrai in France, who's a pretty special story, getting promoted to the top French league this year, and in their first French A action made it all the way to the semifinals of the playoffs, which was amazing. First look at Petty from the service line, tries to pull that one across his body, misses it short. Schmiegelt, like I said, middle blocker out of Lewis against his former teammate Greg Petty. One of several incredible middle blockers for the Rising Tide this weekend, including the man who just entered the match, number 23 in blue, Chris Johnson. Passed right on the net. Johnson with no opposition, dug by Petty off the shoulder before he actually gets a transition attack at it somehow. This is Kubi out of the back row on the right side, and a really nice adjustment there by the Rising Tide offense as Speller and Kahns, the two right side defenders, front and back row respectively, had to come in to make that play short. And with no right side attacking option, Kubi with a really smart play to slide over from middle back to the right sideline and hit that D-ball. Really high-level stuff that you see from teams like the U.S. national team all the time. Oh, good serve down the line by Schmiegelt, but handled really well by Dave Evans. He gets this ball. Pretty good block touch. This is Miles Mangututia in transition, dug by Andrew Sato. Evans again down the line, dug by Kahns. Good defense here by both teams. Set right on the net. Pretty good block touch by Marshman. But then, unfortunately, Chris Johnson's bump set sent way too far outside the antenna for Miles Mangututia to handle. And just in case you're hearing the name Mangututia for the first time, number 9 in blue, the younger brother of Garrett Mangututia, outside hitter on the American national team. Good rip by Marshman, forces the overpass. Smith here in transition to his longtime teammate Hoosman. Down the line, pretty good dig that time by Radira, and another offsetter error, this time by Speller. Not giving his team even a chance to attack that ball in transition. Now twice in a row, the Rising Tide with a couple opportunities. They weren't great ones, but they were opportunities not able to be taken advantage of. Marshman again, who can really get after it from the service line as a middle blocker. Clips the tape. Pretty good move by Radira. One-handed set from Kahns to Johnson. Through the block and down on the LVC side. And more Southern California connections on the floor right now for Team LVC. Libero Andrew Sato, number 20 in black out of Long Beach State. And middle blocker Amir Lugo Rodriguez, number 17 in white, also out of Long Beach State. These guys very well connected in the Southern California scenes. And some personal relationships across the net for sure. Nice rip that time by Hoosman. Cross court on the right side. And number 14 in white, Chris Hoosman out of SUNY New Paltz, has been playing with his setter, Christian Smith, all the way since high school. High school, college, national champions at SUNY New Paltz, and now on the professional level with Team LVC. That chemistry is noticeable. Ooh, good dig by Sato on the middle attack from Chris Johnson, but couldn't be controlled before it hits the side wall. Tied up at 6 here early on set number 1. We play best 3 out of 5 sets to 25 points. And you must win by 2, of course. Good serve that time by Miles. This is Petty out of the back row. Good block touch by Johnson. Kubi, sharp cross court, but too sharp. This is it just wide. He tried to slice off a heck of an angle that time. Would have been pretty nasty if he had tagged the sideline, but not quite. Evans again missed comfortably out of bounds that time, and interesting lineup wrinkle for Team LVC. Not 1, but 2 NCAA National Players of the Year, both from Division III. Dave Evans in 2015, Christian Smith in 2016. Lugo Rodriguez out of the middle, right between the arms of Schmiegelt, and to the floor. Lugo Rodriguez back to serve after that kill. Currently the assistant women's coach for Northwestern University near Chicago. And a net violation there committed by Kubi after tipping that ball, but before it got to the floor, so that is going to be an LVC point on serve. Team LVC, of course, LVC standing for Legion Volleyball Club, founded by Chris Hosley and run out of upstate New York, has dominated the East Coast adult scene for so many years. Oh, good swing that time by Speller out of system on the right side out of the back row. This is Kahns, the setter out of Long Beach City. Generates the overpass on his serve. And tap to the floor to level this set up at 9 apiece. Good pass that time by Sato. Marshman through the block and down. A pretty good reaction that time by both Schmigel and Kubi, but not quite fast enough. Smith, float serve working on Radira's hands. This is Kubi on the right side, tipped into the block of Petty, and then into the antenna. I think that's the right call. Yeah, I think that's the right call. I think Kubi tipped that ball into the block of Greg Petty and then almost immediately off of Petty and into the antenna. I agree with that call. Definitely a bang-bang play. LVC complaining about it, but I agree. Oh, what a dig cross-court by Kahns, but couldn't quite be run down by Radira. $11-10 in favor of Team LVC. We're working on the scoreboard overlay. Give us just a minute on that. This is Petty back serving, who's very dangerous. Perfect pass by Radira. Speller, one-on-one, sharp cross court. No doubt about that one. Schmigel Tier serving for the Rising Tide against rotation 2 receive for LVC. Evans, Husman, Marshman, the front row hitters. No harm done that time. Lugo Rodriguez back into the match in the front row for LVC. Marshman to serve. And what a battle of middle blockers this is. Lugo Rodriguez against Chris Johnson, who spent a lot of time in the U.S. national team, Jim. Marshman misses that serve out of bounds that time. Down the line, Husman. Did he catch the sideline? No, and no touch. So 13-12 to the Rising Tide. That was a close hitting error, good looking wrist away swing, but didn't quite catch a piece of the court or the hands. Speller back to serve. Really good pass there by Petty. Evans on the inside set. What a dig by Radira. Speller down the line off the block and out of bounds. That is a sensational defensive play by Ryan Radira, number 1 in white for the SoCal Rising Tide. Just a brilliant piece of positioning, just absorbing and getting hit by that Evans missile. Speller again, unleashing wrist away on Evans, all the way across the court from Smith. Rolled over, Radira makes the play again. Monga to out of system, dug by Sato. Smart set by Smith to Husman, but a really good block touch keeps it alive. Kubi over the top of the block, did he get the fingertips? No, not quite. Nice play there from both teams. But a narrow hitting error by Kubi and LVC back within 1. Great pass by Radira. Johnson, what a cover off the foot of Kubi. Oh, the dump is red. Evans out of system against 2 blockers. Rolled and it's stuff blocked. What a play by the Rising Tide. It looked like Chris Johnson had gotten stuffed earlier in that play by Lugo Rodriguez, but I believe it was Chris Kahn sticking out a foot, popping that thing up off the floor, and SoCal walks away with the point. That was a crazy turnaround. Now Magatatia again. This is that one just out of bounds. Magatatia, crazy story, played 2 sports at Stanford. Played volleyball, and he played football. He was a defensive back on Stanford's football team in the fall before playing volleyball in the spring. Now plays in the AVP Tour on the sand. Kubi absolutely destroyed sharp cross court. Kubi, the Frenchman, not the only bit of international flavor we have in the gym this weekend at the VLA Cup. We've got a Russian, we've got some Canadians, we've got a Mexican at least. Trying to think of any others off the top of my head. 2 Frenchmen, actually. Kubi, one of them. So really cool to get some guys from all over the world playing this tournament. Petty down the line on the left side, and that is a mismatch for sure. Khan's a good setter, but a smaller blocker at only 6'1" for the Rising Tide, and Petty at 6'5", and an experienced professional at that position. That is a matchup that I'll look for Christian Smith to try and exploit. This is Lugo Rodriguez, a very good float server. Schmigel right between the arms of Marshman and down. And a pretty consistent 2-point lead here maintained by the Rising Tide recently. Rotation 6 receive here for Legion. Just barely out of bounds in the serve of Khans. Let's see if the Rising Tide is one of those teams that's kind of weak in rotation 1 traditionally. Oh, good block that time by Marshman, but kept alive. Speller on the left, tipped over the top and dug by Smith. Kind of tight ball to Petty. Did he get the fingertips? No, I don't believe so. LVC not happy about that no-touch call, but I agree. I think that was just slapped over the top of the block. And the Rising Tide do get out of rotation 1 with Kubi now back to serve. And Monga Tutia to the front row. Petty on the right side, absolutely crushed sharp cross court. Nice adjustment to a little bit of a tight and inside set. Petty, who also spent some time in the national team gym, knows several of these guys. Schmiegeld obviously played with him in college. But Johnson, Matt August, just a few of the names that Petty's gotten to know playing with the national team. Great pass that time by Kubi. And look at that back row attack run. That is just beautiful. Look at the positioning of that. Not a traditional pipe run, at least in its location, side to side. That was run behind the setter, kind of right where Kubi was when he passed that ball. The LVC block was not ready for that, and neither was I, to be honest. That was really cool. Good rip by Schmiegelt, handled brilliantly by Sato. This is Husman on the right side. Crushed down the line, no doubt about that one. And we've seen Chris Husman a good bit this year. We know how crazy good of an arm he has and how high he jumps, about 6'5". We've seen him play both middle and opposite, and we know he is really good as an in-system opposite, but the question is, can he be a guy to throw a high ball to in out-of-system situations on that right pin, front or back row? Speller high off the hands of Evans and out of play, and another mismatch that the team will look to exploit. The Rising Tide with Speller front or back row against Dave Evans, the much shorter blocker at no taller than 6'1" on the outside for LVC. Just barely out of bounds, long that time by Speller, trying to work wrist away on Evans again. And difficult to overstate how big of a pickup Andrew Sato is for Team LVC, not only because he's an unbelievable player, but also because it enables Dave Evans to not have to wear the libero jersey all the time. Overpass, Khans tries to swipe into the block of Evans, kept alive, chance here for LVC in transition. And the stuff blocked that time by the Rising Tide. Johnson and Khans were there to take the angle away. So a big chance for LVC that time to tie that up at 20, but instead 21-19 for the Southern Californians in blue with Mangatutia serving still. That one just out of bounds, well watched by Petty. Evans, a very good server, passed a little off the net by Mangatutia. Speller out of the back row, threw a high seam in the block and down in front of Evans. Really, a Speller playing a really nice match so far. This is Chris Johnson, the former national team middle blocker, like I said. Petty, sharp cross court, and that high, hard, deep corner swing is pretty much unstoppable no matter where you go in the world. And Petty's been just about everywhere. Most recently played in Cyprus, the Mediterranean island, this past professional season after tearing his ACL a couple seasons ago. Schmiegel, good block touch by Marshman. Chance here for LVC for the tie. Marshman again in transition. We're tied at 22. That was an outstanding read and block touch by Marshman. And nice work by him to put in the work to be available in transition and get rewarded by Christian Smith for the block touch that he generated. 22 apiece. That serve missed long of the zone 1 corner by Lugo Rodriguez, but an important point on serve, the previous one. Rising Tide going to need another one to force, LVC within 1. Rising Tide needs a point on serve to win this set before we go to extras, because he must win by 2 once again. Kahns down the line, pretty good pass by Petty. Down the line in front of Kahns, and a beautiful crossbody swing by number 19 in white and pink. Really got all the range you could ask for. Just such good vision, such consistent hand contact and high contact point. 23 apiece. Oh, a bad service error that time by Christian Smith. Short on the float serve, and Rising Tide are going to have a set point here, but they're going to have to do it on the serve of Aaron Kubi, number 6 in blue. Float serve short, working on Petty in rotation 1, overpassed. Sato keeps it alive. Opportunity here for the Rising Tide in transition to win the set. Speller, and they do. Sharp cross court. And that's it, 25-23. Nice short float serve by Kubi to start it off and generate that opportunity in transition, and Speller puts it away. And a competitive set number 1, eventually taken by the Rising Tide, 25-23. A lot more volleyball coming here in this match to win Pool B. We will be right back with set 2. Rising Tide, 25-23. Great defense, dude. Great defense. Set number 2 coming your way live from the 2021 VLA Cup. I'm Rob St. Clair. Thanks for joining us for this matchup between the Rising Tide and Team LVC, the winner of which will take Pool B and have an all-important bye straight to the quarterfinals and an improved seed in tomorrow's bracket. Rising Tide took the first 25-23. Christian Smith for LVC starts us off. Ooh, a little swing and a miss that time by Schmiegelt. Lift ends up being the call, but could have called any number of things there. The connection between Kahns and Schmiegelt just not quite there that time. I like this nice flat float serve by Smith. Barely able to send over the free ball, and it lands on the Rising Tide side. It's 2 straight misconnections or miscommunications. Kubi, what a smart roll shot over the top of the block and down. I really like that off-speed choice. Big double block up in front of him. Sees it, not afraid of it, and has the tools in his bag to exploit that. And serve missed well out of bounds by Kahns. And serve sprayed out of bounds by Petty. The line is very fine at this high of a level of volleyball between serving tough and serving in. You can't serve too easy, otherwise teams at this high of a level are going to run it down your throat, but you also can't miss so many serves that you don't make a team earn any points against you. Very fine line. 4-2 LVC here early on. Mike Marshman, the middle blocker, a very dangerous server against Rising Tide's rotation 2. Speller, sharp cross court, missed it out of bounds. Just barely wide of the sideline. A good looking swing, but nice positioning by the LVC block to take up the appropriate amount of space. That's what block and defense is all about, taking up and covering space. The right back defender that time, Smith for LVC, knew that any ball inside the block and to his right was going to be out of bounds. That is nice positional defense. 5-2 New York. Good serve by Marshman. Well out of system swing coming here from Mangatutia. He tried to get the touch off of Husman and did not find the fingertips. Mangatutia had absolutely no intention of hitting the ball into the court that time. All he wanted was to hit it upwards pretty much as hard as he could and get a touch off of Husman or Lugo Rodriguez, and he couldn't find either of them. 6-2. Great pass that time by Kubi. Speller, good block touch by Evans, who gets a chance here in transition, rolls it cross court. Opportunity here for Mangatutia. What a block by Husman, but somehow covered by Radira. Lugo Rodriguez into the block and no touch into the tape without touching the block, and that was one of the great block covers you will ever see. That block by Chris Husman came back with some force, but Ryan Radira in exactly the right spot. Pop that ball up, and Rising Tide walks away with the point, and a pretty important one. Now 3-6. Good pass by Petty against his former college teammate. Rolled by Husman, picked up by Schmiegelt, but then hit out of bounds by Kubi out of the back row. Husman, 4-point lead, dangerous jump server. What a pass by Kubi that time. And Chris Johnson, that is absolutely unstoppable. High, hard wrist away, and just inside the end line. Great high-level swing. Johnson, 6'11" out of Cal Baptist. has even taken his talents to the beach to some extent. Just a really good all-around volleyball player. Speller, really good pass by Petty. Lugo Rodriguez absolutely destroyed crossbody, but he missed it out of bounds. Was barely wide of the sideline, but a good call by our line judges. And a missed opportunity there off a really good pass. Rising Tide back within 2, 5-7. Great pass by Sato. Koosman out of the back row, missed it short into the net. That wasn't a very good set from Smith, low and inside. Koosman unable to adjust, and the gap has been closed here quickly. Now only a 1-point lead for Team LVC. Foot fault the call. Good pass by Sato anyway, but Speller stepped on the service line as he jumped to go get that one. Oh, one-handed stab by Sato, sharp cross court, but into the side wall. Couldn't quite be kept alive. Give the kill to Miles Mangatutia. Seven serving, 8 Mangatutia serving. Rotation 5 receive here for LVC. Lugo Rodriguez, a big option here. Right on cue, into the block of Johnson, but kept alive. Nice play by Smith, the front row setter. But Kubi is absolutely rejected by Smith down the line. What a move by number 2 in white. And I mentioned earlier, Christian Smith, the Division III National Player of the Year in 2016. To earn that honor as a setter, regardless of the level, is a very big accomplishment and proves that he is a factor in all areas of the game, blocking included. Good pass by Radira. Kubi again, sharp cross court. Off the shoulder of Lugo Rodriguez and out of play. Nice quick delivery from Cons that time. Generated the one-on-one. And like I say all the time, offense is at this high of a level. If you get a one-on-one hitter versus blocker opportunity, advantage offense, the hitter should terminate that ball every single time. Petty, what a great piece of transition from pass to attack. Man, that is just beautiful, beautiful high-level outside hitter play. Great footwork, great timing, great range, and just explodes on that ball cross court. That's just so much fun to watch. Smith again here. Another service error from Kristen Smith. Uncharacteristic, usually very reliable to locate a float serve and not miss anything, but already a couple in this match. Perfect pass by Evans. This is Petty on the right side in rotation 1 high off the deflection of Kubi and out of play. I really love watching Greg Petty play because it doesn't even look like he's trying that hard. He's so smooth, but has like a really big arm, puts some serious pace behind the ball. But everything he does looks so smooth and effortless. It's really fun to watch a player like that. Of course, I say that as he misses his serve, and also important to note, Greg's older brother, Jay, also a very good outside hitter in his day for Lewis. Played for the Chicago Icemen for several years and just had his first baby. So, hi, Jay, if you're watching, and congratulations to Jay and Amy. Nice rip that time by Marshman, cross body out of the middle. We'll see if either of these setters go out of their way to try and get their middle attackers even more involved. I think the offenses are both pretty balanced so far. Marshman, 2-point lead. Good serve, putting the pressure on. This is Mangatutia way out of system. Good roll into the block of Lugo Rodriguez to reset the point. And then Speller tipped high off the hands of Evans and out of play. And as much as I love Dave Evans' game and how good of an all-around player he is, you can't teach height, and Speller's got that one-to-one advantage over him. Schmiegelt now, 11-12. Perfect pass by Petty. Lugo Rodriguez, good block touch by Johnson. Kubi rolled out of the back row. Nice read by Sato. Oh, and a good piece of offense there. Lugo Rodriguez available in transition on the 31 and power tipped straight to the floor. Great defensive play that time by Sato, making the read on the off-speed shot from Kubi out of the pipe. Now Husman back to serve. Fisted to the floor on the overpass by Lugo Rodriguez. And Husman gets the credit for that one, forcing the passing mistake. The margin between passing at this level is crazy thin as well. You're trying to get that ball on the net for your setter to have all three hitting options, but if it's too far on or over the net, it's pretty much a free point for the other team. Good read by Lugo Rodriguez, but an even better cover on the Rising Tide side. Speller off the block of Evans into the antenna for the SoCal point, and that is a matchup that is definitely paying dividends for the Rising Tide right now. Speller having a very nice match so far. Who does he target here serving? Does he go at Petty or Evans? He tries to go at Evans down the line, but misses just wide, wrist away. Evans, a very good jump server. Working on Radira that time. Pass over the net. Free ball opportunity here for Smith and LVC. Petty, deep cross court and terminates again. Petty kind of had the option there as Rising Tide calls a timeout. Now down by 4. I think Petty could have gone up and hit that overpass, but instead chose stay down, get a perfect first ball, free ball pass, and then bust out to the outside to be available in transition, and Smith rewarding him for that effort. LVC playing really well here in set 2, but down 1-0. Again, the winner of this match will win Pool B, but the loser gets second in Pool B. Those matches this morning were so important because these 4-team pools are miniature brackets. So both of these teams actually get a bye straight to the quarterfinals. Neither of these teams will have to play a play-in tomorrow morning. But the second place team, the loser of this match, will play the loser between Team Pineapple and LVC 2 tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So that would be very fun to watch if the two LVC teams were to face off in that quarterfinal. Johnson wrist away. What a dig by Sato. Petty down the line. Did he get the fingertips? No, not quite. A ball, that play entirely developed a little bit too fast for Petty to really have a good transition swing, and he found the space down the line but couldn't keep it inside the end line. Mongatutio at the float serve this time. Petty, that time, finds the line and then some with authority. Lugo Rodriguez, 4-point advantage. Float serve, perfect hand pass by Radira. Oh, what a play by Chris Kahns. Just a beautiful two-handed setter dump. I did not expect that, and neither did Team LVC. That was cool. Sends Johnson back to the line. Petty again, barely through the block of his former collegiate teammate Schmiegelt and down on the Rising Tide side. Sharp cross court. And a serving substitute in here, number 13 in white, Eric Martin. Actually not a serving sub, just a straight-up setter substitution. Martin, the 48-year-old legendary East Coast setter, replaces Christian Smith, the set in the back row here. Nice block touch by Marshman. Petty, high, deep cross court, and he terminates it in transition. The block touch by Marshman set that all up, like I've been saying. It's not all about stuff blocking balls when you're a blocking team. It's about taking up the right amount of space. And if you slow down the offense with a nice block touch, it's sometimes as good as a free ball. And that time it pretty much was. Martin continuing to serve here. Tough pass by Radira. This will be Speller out of the back row. And he's roofed by Petty with Marshman there as well. That all started from the serve. Martin doing a great job putting movement and knuckle, that nasty kind of funk on that float serve. Radira couldn't quite handle it that time. Another imperfect pass by Radira. This is Kubi over the top of the block, off the fingertips and in on the end line. That's a really good high-level swing. Good set by Martin that time to Marshman on the 31, who gets the fingertips on its way out of bounds. And what's really interesting about the way that Martin sets his offense is that, I mean, he's 5'6" at most. And the release point, just in terms of the height of the setter's release, when you're a quick middle attacker, really makes a difference. And so I'm really surprised that Martin is able to be so effective setting middle compared to his teammate Smith, who's much taller. Oh, good block touch that time by Evans. Slowed it down, but couldn't quite slow it down enough. But just to finish that thought, that really gives all the credit to Eric Martin for being such a good setter, able to locate the ball fast and in the right window for the middles to make up for his deficit in height. LVC leads by 5. Been on a nice little run here recently, 21-16. Great pass by Sato. Look how fast that ball is to Husman on the right side. Rescued by Magatutia impressively, but unable to be sent over by Radira on the third contact. And a blocking substitute going to come in here. This is an interesting play, and I like this. Number 10 in white, Lance Rogers. A middle blocker, for those of you who know his game, replaces Evans, an outside hitter, just to provide some more blocking size. LVC understanding that they're getting a little bit exposed in that matchup. Oh, stuff block right on cue. Husman and Lugo Rodriguez combine to shut down Magatutia. And just the fact that Rogers was inserted into the lineup that time made Cons less likely to throw that ball all the way back to Speller on the right side. That really did have an impact. And Husman and Lugo Rodriguez with a nice move to shut it down on the outside. Important that Marshman keeps these serves in play. He does. What a run that was. Cons to Schmiegel on the back one and just hammered cross body. That was beautiful. So the blocking sub undone. Evans comes back in to pass and hit and side out offense. But a really nice substitution that time by Coach CJ Denk. I really like that. Understanding the value of inserting one of his guys in off the bench just for one particular matchup. And it paid off. Oh, good move by Sato to let that one go. Decided at the last moment, but it was a good decision. And now with set point, the original setter, Christian Smith, going to come back in here as his spot in the rotation is in the front row. Husman trying to serve it out in style. Johnson not quite able to be connected there with Cons in the middle offense, and that is it. What was a tight set early on ended up being a pretty commanding LVC win, 25-17, and we are level at one set apiece. We got a good one here with the Pool B title on the line. We'll be right back with set number 3. Big shout-outs to Dan Pawlikowski feeding us some stats from all the way in Denmark overseas. And according to Dan, Greg Petty with 13 kills and a block and only 2 sets to lead all scorers. That's a really impressive output in 2 sets. But just what we expect out of a player of Petty's caliber. Tied up at 1 here, the Rising Tide pulled away late in a very competitive set number 1. LVC did the same, but pulled away towards the middle of set number 2 to generate that 8-point winning margin. The set was actually a lot closer than that, just by the way it felt. So set 3, anybody's game, trying to break a 1-1 tie, and Jacob Schmiegelt, the middle blocker for the Rising Tide, will start us off on the near side of your screen. Really good serve. Petty is able to run it down, and Evans will roll it out of the back row. Basically a free ball opportunity here for Rising Tide. And absolutely crushed wrist away by Chris Johnson out of the middle. Great set by Cons that time. Schmiegelt again. LVC in rotation 6 receive here with Christian Smith in the front row. Sharp cross court dug by Kubi, but not for long. Into the net outside the antenna.
That guy is good.
Your parents are watching.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Eric Martin just walked by. He says, hi, Mom and Dad. I noticed you guys were watching earlier. Thanks for tuning in. 1-1 tie. Smith serving, working on Kubi's platform. Mongatutia high off the fingertips and a diving Sato. Barely unable to rescue that one. Good side out that time by number 9 in blue. Really smart swing. Had absolutely no intention of hitting that ball into the court. Again, like we said earlier, all he wanted was the fingertips, and that time he got him. Speller with the quick tempo floater that time, trying to catch LVC off guard. They were not fooled. Really good block touch. What a play by Speller running that down. Marshman, a good block touch by Johnson, but indecision between Cons and Speller. They couldn't grab that one before it hit the floor. Petty for LVC tied up at 2. He's got 14 points so far. Can he add one as an ace? Not this time. Conservative jump serve that time by Mongatutia. Oh, good block read by Johnson, but the attack of Marshman too strong. Threw the block wrist away and down. This is quite the battle of middle blockers we have in this match. Marshman, Lugo Rodriguez versus Johnson and Schmiegelt. What a matchup. On the other court, by the way, court 2, the Phoenix Ascension up 2-1 over Chicago's Sweed. Just about to start set 4. So if you're looking for the members-only stream, I linked it in the chat a little bit earlier. Good swing that time by Speller over the top of the block and on the end line. This is Johnson. Float serve working on Evans' hands. Lugo Rodriguez wrist away. Missed it out of bounds. Barely. Again, we've seen a couple spectacular angles from Amir Lugo Rodriguez that have missed the sideline by less than a ball width. But that was a good call. That ball was definitely out of bounds. 5-3 Rising Tide. Oh, great repeat set by Smith. Fantastic set choice. Had to get down kind of low for that one. Delivered it quickly to Lugo Rodriguez. And what I mean by repeat setting is an aspect of setters that will sometimes appear in scouting reports, and that they sometimes have a tendency. That's an ace serve right on the end line. Oh, nice rip that time by Usman. But anyway, setters that repeat a lot will go back to a hitter immediately after they've been blocked or hit a ball out of bounds. That was the case right there from Smith to Lugo Rodriguez. Before that Husman ace tied us up at 5. Another ace served by Husman. This time that ball was on its way in to the deepest possible part of the zone 1 corner. Radira stabbed at it and couldn't keep it alive. Nice locational jump serving by number 14 in white.
Oh.
LVC takes a 6-5 lead. Another tough pass from Radira. Kubi can run this down. Right on the net, slapped out by Cons and missed it just out of bounds wide. So the service pressure really dialed up here by Chris Husman in this rotation. Now 4 points in a row for Team LVC. Until finally he misses that one out of bounds, but a really good trip that time for Chris Husman, contributing heavily from the service line. This is Cons. We've seen some service variety out of him. We'll see what he goes with here against LVC's rotation 4. Jump spinner handled really well by Petty. Oh, miscommunication there. Smith set the 31. Lugo Rodriguez expected the, close to the center 1 ball. Uncharacteristic mistake that time from the LVC side-out offense, so we're tied up at 7. Really good pass by Petty again. Oh, what a great tip by Dave Evans. Just fantastic vision. Just over the outstretched fingertips of all 4 hands of the block. And into the center of the court where absolutely nobody was. Nice choice. Great pass by Radira that time. Schmiegelt threw a seam in the block and down on the LVC side. That was a brilliant piece of service reception by number 1 in white and blue that time. Tied up at 8. Petty, good touch by Speller. Kubi runs it down. Mangatutia can have a swing at this way out of system. Handled by Sato. Petty again. I'm taking a page out of Dave Evans' book, using the off speed. That time the roller, good enough to score over the outstretched fingertips once again. Again, a really good choice. Speller on the right side, block touch, one-handed stab made. Another dig by Husman. Smith wins the joust, but the Tide will have an opportunity here. Speller on the right side against 2 blockers. Tipped through the hands of Greg Petty and down, and Petty is not happy about that play. Back to where we started the set with Schmiegelt serving against LVC's rotation 6. Tied up at 9. Great pass by Petty again. Big attack to Evans. What a dig by Cons. Again a tip by Speller, but this time read and rejected by Petty and Marshman. Not to be fooled twice in a row. Nice disciplined block move put up that time by the LVC wall. Smith working on Mangatutia. Johnson wrist away on the 31. No doubt about that one. Just so much fun to watch. These setters space the floor inside out in transition with their middle attack. Just moving these guys all over the place. We've seen a good amount of back 1 from the Rising Tide already, which I love. That time the gap set to Chris Johnson, just creating a lot of space and moving the LVC blockers around. Perfect pass. One-handed set from Smith to Marshman. Oh, I disagree with that call. Okay, we're going to have a conference about this between the 2 officials. I think that Christian Smith legally got up and got that ball with 1 hand. Especially considering the Rising Tide, no blocker went up to go and try and contest that. Okay, LVC will take the point there. I think that's a great call. Good conversation and correction by our two officials. Or maybe the call will be replay. I thought that ball was down. Yeah, that ball was down. I think that's the conversation now. So Smith legally went up and got that ball. Marshman attacked it legally. But I guess, was there a premature whistle is the question. Okay. The ball is down, LVC point, and I agree with that call. I absolutely agree with that call. That was a brilliant set by Christian Smith and hammered to the floor by Marshman legally before the whistle on the previous call was blown. I think we're all on the same page now. It should be 11-10 LVC. Petty serving. And that little delay. Oh, of course. A delay created by the conversation about getting the call correct. Slowed down Petty just enough to miss that serve. Now Mangatutia tied up at 11. Another one, pretty much the same play, but this time kept alive by Aurelia Speller. Good dig by Sato. Reach into the inside. Evans out of system, rolled, picked up by Speller again. Where does Cons go? Big attack, Mangatutia tips it through the block. That's alive. I think that was a legal play. Kubi tipped into the block of Husman, and he's rejected. What a wacky play that was. I actually agree with that no call. I think Marshman scooped that ball up off the Mangatutia pipe tip legally. Be interested to go back and rewatch that play and see if I feel the same way, but Team LVC walks away with that point, and pretty crazy one. 12-11 with Marshman serving. Good hands by Mangatutia. Kubi on the left side. Great late move by Lugo Rodriguez. That ball was going in, played by Speller. Rolled over, dug by Marshman. Evans, smart swing high into the hands. Husman will set this ball. Evans again, rolled into the block and covered. Oh, nice set by Lugo Rodriguez. Slice sharp cross court. Good rally developing here. Kubi misses it out of bounds. That is such smart offense by Team LVC. You saw twice in a row there. Dave Evans lightly either hit or rolled the ball into the block intentionally to get it covered back on his side. We call that a reset or a recycle, something that high-level pin hitters do on purpose when they're not in a great spot. So slap the ball into the block, get it covered on their side, and generate a better offensive opportunity. Really smart offense by Team LVC. Great pass by Mangatutia. One-handed set again. Lugo Rodriguez wins the joust. Speller out of the back row. Got the fingertips, but dug by Petty. Good read by Johnson, but covered. Transition opportunity here for the Rising Tide. Set coming from the libero. Petty makes the defensive play, but out of bounds on the Rising Tide side. Give the kill to Aaron Kubi. Substitution going to come in here. Number 21 in blue, Matt August. A middle blocker replaces Chris Kahn. So no recognized setter on the floor right now for the Rising Tide. This is a blocking-only substitution. We'll see who has the setting duties for the Rising Tide if they get a chance in transition. Lugo Rodriguez, that one's right on the sideline. Finally, one of those critical angles pays off for number 17 in white. That was a good call. And the blocking sub will be undone here as Cons re-enters to set the offense inside out. That serve, oh, is that in? Yes, it is. Another ace for Chris Husman. With that crossbody hook spin, really working well on that zone 1 area. Already 3 aces to that spot in this set alone. Impressive locational jump serving from number 14 in white again. This time working down the line on Kubi, and that's a second ace in a row. Wow, what a serving effort by Chris Husman. Showing all the range, and that is going to be a Rising Tide timeout. Smart call by Coach Michael Ma. LVC dialing up the service pressure and able to string a couple points in a row on serve. They lead here in set number 3, 16-12. To break a 1-1 tie, we will be right back. Ascension serving again out of the timeout. Isn't enough to slow him down. Great pass by Radira. Schmiegelt off the block, covered by Speller. This is Kubi out of system! And I think that's through the block and down. Yes, it is. That a rising tide point through the block and down on the LVC side. So a good timeout that time from SoCal. Chris Carnes back to the line. Down by 3. Oh, that looked like it may have tagged the end line, but not called, and no argument from the Rising Tide. Good pass by Radira. Schmiegelt hammered to the floor straight between the block of Smith and Lugo Rodriguez. Just a little bit of a gap there that was found by number 20 in blue. Really been impressed by Aaron Kubi's game so far. Let's see if he can continue that from the service line. Going with the floater this time. Petty over the top of the block. What a defensive play. Speller dug by Evans. Barely kept alive by Lugo Rodriguez and sent over by Ascension. Speller again. Too much to handle this time. And what a brilliant play earlier in that rally by Aaron Kubi. In middle back, diving to his left defensively. Ends up generating a point for the Rising Tide, a true point on his serve. That was really fun to watch. Down by 2 now only, 15-17. Taking a little bit of momentum back after that timeout. Petty straight down the line. It is just so much fun to watch Greg Petty hit the ball. Like I said earlier, the vision, the range, and just how smooth he is. He makes the game look really easy. And let me tell you guys, it's not, especially at this high of a level. Service sub that time, Nick Smith, younger brother of the setter Christian, into serve, and he misses it well short. Schmiegelt here serving for the Rising Tide, down by 2. Good rip, handled really well by Evans though. The dump by Christian Smith. I think he's a back row player right now. No, front row player, but the block by Mangantutia was there. That was a good read by number 9 in blue. And a Rising Tide point as that block was good onto the LVC side. Nice service pressure that time by Schmiegelt. SoCal within 1, rotation 6 receive for the Legion. Another good serve. Petty high through the hands of Speller. And a diving Schmiegelt can make the defensive play. Talking about Petty's range, man, he's clearly shown he can hit the ball down the line. He's clearly shown he can hit the ball sharp cross court. And when he has neither, he's got roll shot, he's got high hands, he's got high flat off the fingertips, and just about everything in between. Just all the tools that a high-level outside hitter needs. Eric Martin in once again to set for Christian Smith. Nice late move that time by Marshman. Petty high into the hands. Pretty good block touch by Johnson. This is Speller out of system. Covered off the block of Marshman. Tricky set that time by Radira. But not tricky enough to fool Greg Petty, who rejects Relia Speller. right off of his shoulder and into the floor. And LVC back now up by 3 as Martin, the new setter off the bench, continues to serve. Low pass, Magatutia against 2 big blockers. What a great swing that is. Just fantastic offense by number 9 in blue. High off the fingertips of Marshman and into the back wall. There is nothing that you can do to stop him from doing that, other than pull your hands away entirely. And once you do that, he's going to start hammering the ball to the floor. 18-20. Speller with some work to do here. Great pass by Evans again. Martin to Hoosman, hammered down the line. What a beautiful swing. Hoosman on the left side in rotation 1 there. Quick delivery from Martin again, and I already praised his setting ability when he came in set 2. No different here. The LVC side-out offense does not suffer when E is in there. Is that going to be an ace serve? Yes, it is. Greg Petty beats Aaron Kuby that time, and now scoring in just about every possible way, and triggers the SoCal timeout. 22-18. New York with an advantage here in set number 3. It's starting to play some really good volleyball over there. Fun to watch, and more coming in just a few seconds. Stay tuned. Blocking sub hitting here. Lance Rogers coming in again to replace Dave Evans out of the timeout to provide some size. The transition offense will be interesting if LVC gets there, and they do. Martin to Hoosman. Chopped sharp cross court. Opportunity here in transition for Magatutia into the block. And the stuff block is good by Hoosman and Marshman. Johnson not quite able to cover that one. And now LVC on the doorstep at 23-18 of taking set number 3. And a 2-1 lead, which is very important. Great pass that time by Radira. Johnson, cross body, absolutely no doubt about that one. That is such great volleyball. A really good serve, but an even better pass and some nice-looking, high-level in-system offense. And Matt August in again here, replaces Chris Kahns. Oh, yeah. I'm going to get clarification on that. You can't substitute one in, one out. Once August comes in once, goes back to the bench, he cannot come in again. So what they're going to do instead, I believe, is substitute a backup opposite Raymond Barsimian in for Kahns in a similar role as a blocking sub, unless our down official disallows that. And I do think that's the case. Okay, so no substitution this play for the Rising Tide. As, yeah, international substitution rules. When a player comes in off the bench, then goes back to the bench, he's done for the set. Magatutia serving, 19-23. Where does Martin go here? Marshman, good block touch by Johnson, but barely out of bounds on the LVC side. And set point coming up, 5 of them to be exact, for the New York Legion to break this 1-1 set tie. Good pass by Magatutia. Johnson hammered wrist away again. Really, if the Rising Tide can pass the ball this well, I don't see any reason not to set middle at all times. Even as good as Lugo Rodriguez and Marshman are in the middle defensively for LVC, how are you supposed to stop the 6'11" Chris Johnson in in-system offense. It's just an impossible task. The service error there by Johnson will end the set. Anticlimactically, but LVC will take it 25-20. They lead now 2-1 in this best-of-5 match. And a very important set number 4 coming your way in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Potentially last set, but we're going to go to 5. We're going to go to 5 here. We're going to keep you here a little bit longer. Oh, I'm fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Set number 4 coming your way live from the 2021 VLA Cup. I'm Rob St. Clair. Thanks for joining us, and if you're following along with the tournament, you'd be interested to know that on Court 2, the Phoenix Ascension just beat Chicago's Sweed 3-1 in a pretty competitive match. I was just looking at the scores. So that one just wrapping up just now on Court 2. The Ascension taking third in Pool C. The other Pool C match will be later tonight, the last match on the main court at 8 p.m. Team LVC 2 versus Team Pineapple for the first place title in Pool C, which we're very much looking forward to. But first, set 4 of LVC Rising Tide right now, and hammered wrist away to start us off by Jacob Schmiegel out of the middle. Thanks again, Dan Palikowski in the chat. Chris Hoosman, 4 aces, 2 blocks, and a kill in set 3 alone. An amazing performance for the LVC opposite. Oh, great block touch by Johnson again, but Schmiegel couldn't run it down. A couple more stats, as you can see there in the chat. Greg Petty, 17 kills so far for the match. And for the Rising Tide, Relia Speller with 12, Aaron Kuby with 10. So balanced offense, like I've been saying, for really both teams. But when in doubt, LVC is going to Greg Petty, and I think we all know that by now, including the Rising Tide, but it doesn't mean they can stop it. Here is Petty. Clips the tape on the handle by Radira. Mangatutia into the block. What a touch by Marshman. And 2 in a row. Wow, what a play by number 12 in white. Gets up quick to get a good block touch on Chris Johnson, who then immediately had another go at it on gets his own rebound. And Marshman stuffed him twice in a row. What a play. Petty again. Just barely out of bounds that time. Speller here has put some pressure on him. Not sure if he has any aces so far, but you're not going to get it against Andrew Sato. That's a perfect pass. And a wrist away termination by Marshman again, who's quietly having himself a really nice match in the middle. Well, quietly until that last 2 blocks in 1 rally sort of sequence. Marshman, a trademarked pre-serve routine. Certain number of steps, certain number of bounces. Not the highest toss for a jump server, but really gets after it fast. Oh, what a play by Cons. That's such a good move by the front row setter there. Chasing that ball down towards his right side antenna. And as he's in the front row, fully within his rights to throw that ball down. Through the block of Evans, that is. Tied up at 3. Mangatutia safely out of bounds in the jump spinner there. And we just talked about Hoosman's serving performance in set number 3. This is a rotation where that hooking serve to position 1 is very dangerous against the Rising Tide. It's exactly where he goes, but handled really well by Mangatutia. Another chance here. This is Kubi kind of out of system. Absolutely detonated cross courts. What a swing by number 6 in blue that time. Johnson, handled by Evans. Lugo Rodriguez misses it short into the net, and that connection between Smith and Amir, not great that time. So the Rising Tide take a narrow lead, 5-4. No libero on court right now. Johnson going to defend in left back. Not a good pass here by Evans. This is Hoosman way out of system, dug by Speller. Oh, Speller tries to pull it down the line out of the back row, but misses it short. And definitely a missed opportunity there for the Rising Tide. Evans been quiet lately. Let's see who he goes after here serving. Good pass by Mangatutia. I think that was into the head of Petty. Yes, it was. It's not a very good swing by Speller, honestly, bringing that down into the low part of the block, but happened to catch Petty in the forehead between his arms. This is Cons, handled easily by Sato, and crushed wrist away by Lugo Rodriguez. I believe deflected by Schmiegel on its way down, and you just cannot serve Andrew Sato if you're the Rising Tide. He is just way too good. And you would think the Rising Tide would know that, considering Sato is a Southern California guy playing for Long Beach State. Oh, nice piece of offense there. Schmiegel off the block, I believe, of Christian Smith and out of play. This is Aaron Kubi. Oh, that's a really good-looking float serve. Good move by Petty to handle it. Oh, I love that tip. Schmiegel comes in to make the play. Kept alive by Kubi. Where does Smith go here? Oh, and another misconnection from Smith to one of his middles. I'm actually not sure if that was a set to Marshman or if that was a bick to Dave Evans. Either way, a big missed opportunity for Team LVC, and the Rising Tide leads 8-6. Good float serve again. Perfect pass by Petty. He gets this ball on the outside, thrown into the block of Speller and down through the block on the Rising Tide side. Smith against Rising Tide rotation 2. Not a great pass from Radira, but a set against the flow, and what a swing. Wow. Aurelia Speller, I have no idea how he was able to find line there. Excellent set by Chris Cons, like I said, against the flow, moving to his left side of his court, flicking that ball all the way back to the right side of his court. Really impressive shot that time by Aurelia Speller. So we track down the volleyball. Rising Tide leads 9-7. With that hit out of bounds by Schmiegel from the service line. Now it'll be his former collegiate teammate Greg Petty. Eight serving 9. Good rip, handled really well by Radira. Nice read by Marshman, but covered by Kubi on the Rising Tide side. Excellent touch by Husman. Sato way out of system. Platform sets this ball, and a free ball here for SoCal. Johnson! Hammered crossbody on the 31. Again, the positioning, the spacing, the way that these setters are moving their middles around to generate certain matchups with blockers and with different areas on the court is just so high level. And it happens so fast. It's amazing to watch. Especially given the size and the quality of the athletes. Just what's so cool about high-level men's volleyball. That may have been a footfall from Speller, but missed short anyway. This is Marshman trailing by 1 against the Rising Tide rotation 4. Cons in the front row with Johnson and Mangatatia, but it doesn't matter. Float serve this time for Mangatatia. Husman, quick ball on the right side into the block, covered by Evans. Another ball to Husman, and I think that was rejected by Johnson. Yes, it was. The late move by number 23 in blue, good enough to stuff Chris Johnson, or stuff Chris Husman, that is. Rising Tide leads by 3. Evans down the line. Did he catch a piece? No, he did not. No touch and missed the court. Rising Tide lead continues to grow. LVC is sensing that as well. Calls timeout here. Rising Tide down a set, down 1-2. But a nice little lead here, trying to force a fifth in order to win Pool B. That's what's on the line. Mangatatia again with the floater, handled by the middle blocker, Lugo Rodriguez. Evans into the block of Cons, run down by Sato on the cover. Husman down the line. That is a great set from Christian Smith. Really nice delivery in pretty decent tempo and at exactly the right spot for Husman to hit the ball down the line, which we have seen he likes to do. Big service opportunity here. Perfect pass. Kubi with kind of the roundhouse. That did not hit the antenna. That's a legal play, tip to the floor. That went between the block of Smith and the antenna. Nothing wrong with that. Nice off-speed choice there by number 6 in blue. And the server will be Chris Johnson. Evans, good block touch by Cons. Put Kubi, the off blocker, may have slipped in transition or something. Nobody there to keep that ball off the floor on the Rising Tide side. Evans again. Kubi rolled over the top. Evans keeps it alive for now. I think that ball's alive, yes. Speller tipped. Sato makes the read. Husman out of the back row. What a block by Schmiegel. Where did he come from? Wow, what a crazy play all around. That scramble by LVC to even keep that first ball off the floor was inspired. But the Rising Tide walk away with the block, and once again a 4-point lead at 15-11. Not a good pass by Petty. He'll get this ball way out of system, tries to pull it down the line and misses it short. Smith did a decent job with the bump set that he delivered given the situation. But Petty couldn't quite use it. Now Rising Tide up by 5. That, I don't know how Petty was able to make it through the block of Speller that time, but he did. And the ball falls on the Rising Tide side. Nick Smith in as a service sub once again, replacing Lugo Rodriguez. Keeps it in play this time. Handled really well by Mangatutia. Speller over the top of the block. What a dig by Evans. This ball's hittable for Petty. High and covered. Marshman wrist away. What a play that was. Great block coverage and an even better defensive play by Dave Evans. That Speller swing came over the block. Was dug and kept alive. Nice bump set by, I believe, Marshman to Petty. And then Marshman in transition. Nice play there from LVC. They trail only by 3. Smith once again. Again keeps it in play. Can Speller run it down? Yes. But the third contact not going to be good enough. That's effectively an ace for Nick Smith. And don't look now. LVC back within 2. We'll see if Rising Tide calls timeout here to try and cool Smith off. No, I don't see one, so they're going to stick with it in rotation 1, trying to get out of this. Another good delivery by Smith. Speller, sharp cross court, missed it out of bounds, no touch. And now the timeout comes from the Rising Tide. Excellent coaching by CJ Denk, inserting Nick Smith, and a great job by Nick Smith to come in and serve tough, serve in, and put pressure on. LVC right back in this thing at 15-16, and the momentum. We will see what happens here the rest of set number 4. Big moment here in this match. Rising Tide need to get out of rotation 1 against a hot server in Nick Smith, but we'll see if the timeout has cooled him off. No, it hasn't, but good pass. Kubi on the right side, absolutely crushed down the line. Evans in a good spot, but too much heat for him to handle and keep on his side. That was a bomb for number 6 in blue, man. That was fun to watch. So the service sub is undone. Sato back in at the libero. And the Rising Tide lead back up to 2. Good pass by Petty. Just so good. Oh, that's just a beautiful piece of offense. High, deep cross court. There's just nothing you can do to stop that. And now Eric Martin going to come in again for the 3rd set in a row to go through the back row one time in place of Christian Smith, trailing by 1. That's a back row blocker. That's got to be called. Yes, it is. Okay, good call by up official Dave Sines. Chris Kahn's a back row player. Went up, got that ball in the plane of the net, and one of the LVC blockers went up for it as well. I believe it was Petty, so that immediately LVC's point. We're tied up at 17. What a block by Marshman. Oh my goodness. I don't even know how he made that read. That's that play from Kubi again that we saw way earlier in the match where he ran that bick like behind the setter when he passed in position 1. I can't believe that after only seeing it once, Marshman knew enough to expect that and then to make the move. That was incredible. What a dig by Sato! Oh, Schmiegelt. Crossbody may have been going out of bounds, but off of Martin on its way. Marshman definitely fooled that time. Good set by Cons. We're tied up at 18, and the momentum firmly on the side of LVC, in my opinion, as a service substitute. Going to come in here, number 4 in blue, Brandon Directo, who is an electric outside hitter when he's used in that role. Let's see what he can do serving off the bench in place of Jacob Schmiegelt. Conversation here. I'm honestly not sure about what. It could be the one-in, one-out thing serving again, but Directo hasn't played in this match yet. That shouldn't be an issue. Oh, it's about the score. Okay, the score, 18 Rising Tide, serving 19 LVC. I think that's correct. Directo with the floater. That was very close. Very, very close, but barely out of bounds. So the substitution undone. And now Petty here with a huge opportunity serving. Okay, the score now corrected at 19-18. It's now 19-18. It was 18-18 a second ago. Petty with an opportunity here to provide some really crucial insurance. Yeah, there's still a question about what the score is. So the officials in the scores table are going to work this out. I wish I could help. I do not know how to fix this scoring situation. We're going to figure out the scores table. I think 19-18 is the correct score. Yes, it is. Okay. I think 19-18 is the correct score. So anyway, back to the volleyball. Petty has a big opportunity here. If he can get over the fact that he was just iced a little bit, he's got to put this serve in, but big opportunity to put some pressure on! Right on cue! What an absolutely untouchable serve by Greg Petty into position 1, a clean ace. Absolutely perfectly located. And now the score unquestionably 20-18. A huge insurance point for Team LVC. And now Speller in rotation 3 going to take up a little space and serve receive. Rising Tide clearly fearing this serve, and for good reason. Great pass by Radira. Oh, hit to the floor by Dave Evans. Cons, the back row setter, could do nothing against that. And just a little bit too much heat that time by Petty for Radira to handle. Now 21-18. A huge play, or a sequence of plays there. Team LVC with a 3-point lead and a 2-1 lead. You know what that means. If they win this set, it's over. Timeout Rising Tide, but not if they have anything to say about it. Good opportunity to slow Petty down and just talk about the strategy in this particular rotation. Petty again. Let's see what he's got out of the timeout. Another ace serve! No way! That is absolutely ridiculous from Greg Petty. An ace in this same... Oh my goodness. He had that position 1 ace clean. This ace completely the opposite. Wrist away, hit as hard as he could. Gets the better of Manganjatia. Now 22-18. Now he can do absolutely whatever he wants. Does he have a cut short in his arsenal? Nope. Goes after it again, right in the seam between Radira and Kubi. Good defensive positioning off the block touch. Evans out of system, puts it away! What a great swing by number 25 in white, and an excellent bump set as well by Eric Martin. And Brandon Directo going to come in here, still in that middle blocker spot. That service sub was never undone, so he can come in here effectively a libero. 23-18, Petty continuing this crazy run. Goes after it again, misses short, but obviously an extremely productive trip to the service line for Greg Petty. His team leads by 4. All they need to do is side out twice. Step 1, get Relia Speller off the line in rotation 2. Let's see where Eric Martin goes. Oh, good serve, but what a great move by Sato. Wow, look at that play. Martin to Petty on the Bic, but that same kind of run that we saw the Rising Tide use. That kind of, I used to call it an eyeball in college. That same Bic tempo, but positionally a little bit behind the setter. I love that. I love that call by Martin in the adjustment now. Match points, Marshman serving, and Lance Rogers into the front row to block for Dave Evans. 5 opportunities here to win the match. Good pass. Marshman makes a defensive play. Can Rogers run it down? Actually, almost. But can't quite bring it back, so the Rising Tide side out. Marshman serve. The blocking sub going to be undone here for Team LVC. A blocking sub going to be inserted for the Rising Tide. Matt August, number 21, into block for Chris Cons. So now all the Rising Tide can do is put service pressure on and try to block the ball. They have no recognized setter on the court right now. It'll probably be Directo if they do get that chance. Mongatutia's got to serve in. He does. Hoosman for the match down the line. What a dig by Directo. Martin again. Hoosman for the match, and that's it. High into the hands of Kubi, deflects long, and Team LVC has won Pool B. They've defeated the Southern California Rising Tide 3-1. 25-20, the set 4 score off of that incredible service run by Greg Petty that separated the two teams late in set number 4. That was an incredible match. And I would not be all surprised if these two teams played again in this tournament. It would not be until Sunday, but I could very well see it. Team LVC wins Pool B. They'll await the winner of one of our play-in games tomorrow. And the Rising Tide still straight to the quarterfinals, but they'll play first thing tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. on the live stream court against the loser of Team Pineapple and Team LVC 2, which is coming up next. So a lot more volleyball to be played for both of these teams, but they've delivered a really good match just now on Friday evening for the 2021 VLA Cup. Very impressed with what we saw there. And a no-brainer MVP award to Mr. Greg Petty, who I'm excited to interview in just a few moments here on stream. So stick around for that. Chicago Icemen and Boston Bounce warming up right now. They'll be live in about 20 minutes on Court 2. And 8 p.m. Eastern, the start time for the last match of the day, Team Pineapple against Team LVC 2. So come back for that one. I'm going to grab an interview with one of the guys, Petty, and we'll see who else we can grab. And then we'll see you guys at 8 p.m. So thanks for joining us again. Great match. Really fun to watch. Let's hear from our MVP. Mr. Greg Petty, ladies and gentlemen, a well-deserved MVP award. Agreed. That service run at the end of set 4 was just disgusting. So it was kind of weird because there was a conversation about what the score was supposed to be, and there were a couple stoppages, and when you're a jump server, it's easy to perhaps get iced by moments like that. Not that time.
No.
What do you think in moments like that? Did you know you were going to zone 1 on that first serve?
We were kind of trying to pick on the libero there because he was struggling a little bit kind of towards the beginning of the match. So, we were kind of trying to just change it around a little bit. I also wasn't feeling the best. Like earlier on in the match, I was missing a lot of serves. Toss wasn't there. So at first I was just trying to, put up a good ball in. And then, I just felt good on that one, ripped it there. And, on, like, the icing stuff, it happens all the time, and you just kind of get used to it. Like, I try not to change my mindset. Like, I'm not trying to think like, okay, I just need to put this in. I'm just like, I'm going to grip it, rip it, and see what happens.
Love it. That run obviously changed the match, at least late. And then you had the one down the line too, which was equally good. But throughout, there was a presence that you had offensively, and you probably have never played with Christian Smith before.
Actually, we did. He came out halfway through the year when I was in Greece a few years ago, so we did a little bit. So we've got a little bit of we know each other a little bit. It's been a while, but yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know you guys were on the same team that year. Sweet. But anyway, you showed a ton of range. You hit a lot of really smart high balls. You did a lot of really good things. And I feel like that rubs off on the rest of your team to an extent, because when a team knows you have somebody really reliable in out-of-system spots, whether it's your opposite, whether it's you in this case, everybody kind of settles in. Nobody stresses out. Yeah. You guys never really play with a lot of stress is something I've noticed. I don't know. What's your take on that?
Honestly, I think part of it started with just passing, because we were all passing really well, and it opened up our middles, and then it let Christian run a pretty free offense. And even when E came in, he was doing a good job too. And with the range stuff, it's just something I've tried to work on over the years. And honestly, I'll give a lot of credit to Dan Friend, my college coach. He helped out. Yeah, he helped out a lot with that stuff. And it's just. Even still, I made the one really stupid swing at the end where I just hit in the net, and it's just, I always just try and think now, though, it's just, forget about the mistakes. It's going to happen. You can't get every single ball, and just go out there and play.
So the last thing I want to ask about is that there were a couple of very interesting one-on-one matchups, like you versus their setter, and then their opposite, Relia versus Dave, blocking. And both of your teams figured that out and started bringing in some subs to serve, to block. You brought in E to set. Yeah. That's really interesting. Why do you do that? Why do you do it for just 1 point? Why does it matter that much to make that matchup for just that 1 point, I guess?
It really just gives the guy something to kind of think about. If I see a bigger blocker in front of me, I'm kind of like, okay, well, maybe I'm going to have to change something. And even though it may just be for 1 point, it could be a big point in the match. You never really know. So it's always, when you can earn the point. And it's usually people will do that towards the later in the match too. It's, once everybody's past 18, that's when you start to try and do that stuff just to get the extra advantage basically on 1 or 2 points. And sometimes, because also if you're serving and then you get that point and you have that blocking sub in, then, they're still in for another point after that, and it just keeps going. So just, strategy always, trying to give a different look.
It's really cool, smart, high-level stuff. And you made a good point. Earlier, Lance came in to block one time, and I thought that it influenced the set choice away from Relia, where they probably would have gone ordinarily, but you put a bigger blocker on him, so you set outside and you got a stuff block. Yeah. Imagine that.
Exactly. Yeah. So we do the same thing with service receive a little bit too.
Right.
4 people, and just change up and give someone a different look. So.
It's cool. I love pinpointing super high-level strategic stuff like that within a match, because it goes with how much you guys are thinking in addition to how freakishly athletic y'all are. Yeah. So, well done, dude. Really fun match to watch, and a lot more coming tomorrow, huh? You ready for it?
Yeah. Looking forward to it, and excited to play everybody else that's here. It's going to be fun.
Congrats, man. Well played.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So Team LVC wins Pool B. They beat the Rising Tide 3-1, and if you haven't seen enough of guys with pink flamingos on your jerseys, you're going to want to stick around, because just starting to roll into the gym is Team LVC 2, who handled the Phoenix Ascension this morning in Pool C and are absolutely no joke. The LVC entire system, top to bottom, really showing up this weekend so far. LVC 2 in a really spicy matchup against Team Pineapple coming up at 8 p.m., so definitely look forward to that one. And we are going to go get some attention to the Chicago Icemen and the Boston Bounce, a very important match in Pool A that's about to start on Court 2 over there. So if you're interested in that, We might turn it on for all viewers, but just in case, I definitely recommend becoming a member here of the YouTube channel. Press that join button. It's 99 cents a month. The value you get out of that is off the charts. I think it's a no-brainer. And yeah, if you're not already, definitely subscribe to the channel. Press the red subscribe button. It costs you nothing, but it helps us out a lot. So make sure you're not missing any of our stuff throughout the weekend. So many more matches coming tomorrow. We'll get the brackets updated. We'll get everything in order for elimination bracket play starting first thing tomorrow morning. So super excited about that. One more match coming later. Match going on over there here shortly. So more volleyball. That's what you tune in to see. I think that'll do it for now. Enjoy the rest of the matches. Thanks for tuning into this one, and we'll see you guys soon. I'm Rob St. Clair. Peace.